Welcome back. In today's video, I want to talk about one of my favorite tool brands, and that being Tajima. Not only do they make great chalk boxes, I mean, if you go on any job site, you're going to see guys running these Tajima chalk boxes, whether they be the thin ones or the thick ones for concrete. They make a great product, but they also make more than just chalk boxes. So in this video, I want to talk about some other products they make and also some of my experiences with these tools. Let's get into it. So this is my current chalk box. This is the model CR201W. This is the metal body, not plastic. Great. I've had it for over 2 years, never had a complaint. I like the fact that even if you want to replace things, you can go on the website and every single part of this chalk box is replaceable. The gears inside, the hook, the cap, the screws, everything needs to replace it. So if you are more mechanically minded and you want to fix your chalk box, you can do that. This is the bold line. This is the 1mm line, and I think it works good. It's way thinner than the DeWalt, but it's not as thin as the ultra fine finish line. I like the 1mm opposed to the half. The half is just a little bit too fragile for the field. It's really easy to break or snap. So this is probably the perfect combination. I do like the fact on the side you can kind of just lock in your hook right there, and you have this little mechanism right here to lock the reel from coming in. Overall, this is a great chalk box. Guys who have these chalk boxes definitely appreciate them. You see people treat them a lot more with respect opposed to, you know, a 2 for $10 chalk box. These are way better made, and you can tell the quality of them too. Now, this is another Tajima chalk box. This one is the model CR301JF. Now, this one is plastic, but it is translucent. You don't have the benefit of being as durable, but you can see how much chalk you have inside, and it does have the rubber grip. It's not going to move around if you were to put it, I don't know, like on a desk or something. I don't really know the benefit of having it be, you know, rubber. Maybe the fact that in the rain, it's not going to slip as much. I've never had a problem with the slipping of this one, the metal body. So I don't know, it's an added feature we don't need, but I mean, it is nice to have. It does feel pretty good in the hand ergonomically. Again, it has the same thing on the side with the cap and this right here locking it in. One thing about this, this is the jam free, so this reels in a lot faster. So I guess like it's 5 times faster. I'm not sure it's 5 times faster than the other model I told you before, but this thing is like twice as expensive as this one. So I'm not sure if the value is there for that, but it still is a great made chalk box. Say if you go to the hardware store and you couldn't find this one's always a good option. This also is the bold 1mm. This is what it looks like when it's brand new. As you can see, it's ultra thin, great chalk box. I think if you're gonna worry about, like, you know, cutting on one side of a line for a 1mm, you're probably going to use like a straight edge or maybe a table saw, get that real precise cut. Again, these are great boxes, and I think that you're not going to go wrong. But again, if this is double the price of this one, definitely get 2 of these than one of those. You know what I mean? You can make sure you can have multiple colors. I prefer to have run with a black and a blue, just that way. So if you are doing some stuff where if you do layout with blue, you're not going to be damaging like concrete. Say if it's table work and you having layout on there, that layout is going to transfer onto the concrete as your ceiling. You want to make sure you use a color that is not going to be as permanent. So black for layout if it's not going to be permanent, and blue for layout if it is. So pretty simple. Here is the Inkrite snap line. Now, I've never seen this in the field. I don't even know where you'd use this at, what application. So I had to actually use it first. So again, I'm your guinea pig. I want to try this out. This actually is pretty cool. You see this little compartment right here, it opens up and it has sponges in here. So I assume the ink goes inside of here, and then you have this little button to apply more ink onto the line. Actually pretty nice. I think if it gets tangled up, you can open it up right here and see inside. Pretty good. Now, it's actually auto retractable, which is pretty cool. You see that? It kind of opens up. It's not super aggressive. So if you're expecting it to like to fly back to you, like say if it was like an 8-foot long piece of like hardy and you were to kind of bring it back, it doesn't seem super aggressive. And I think you can wind it up back here. You can wind it up right here so that you can get more of a charge to it. A little bit, gives a little bit more heat to it. Again, this is just a different system. I never used it for a different product, so just want to give it a shot. I will try this out in the field. I'll let you guys know what I think. I think it's probably going to be more for like finished products hardy, nice plywood that maybe has a finish on it that you want to make sure it's really precise. You're not going to have some of the problems you have with like chalk getting on the product, staining it. Even if you're using blue, sometimes even if you're using some of the lighter colors, it can still damage it. So I think maybe this application is for that. I don't know yet. I'm not gonna lie to you. I just think it's a pretty cool product and I want to try it out for myself. Also, I use the Tajima actual brand chalk. Some people say they don't care, they use DeWalt, but for me, I've seen these last a lot longer when I actually use their brand of chalk. I've been told that it is like thinner, so it doesn't grind up in the gears as much. So I kind of trust it. I mean, is this a gimmick where they have like a proprietary chalk where you have to use their stuff and makes you like have to spend more money? Possibly, but I still think this is like good enough that when I've used this consistently, I haven't had problems. When I've used like a DeWalt, it does tend to get gunked up. So I definitely do want to stay with this because again, if you're spending $30, $40 on a chalk box, just invest a little bit more and actually get the chalk it needs. It's kind of like if your car takes, you know, premium gas, use the premium gas whether you want to or not. So the next item I have is a Tajima knife. Again, they make good products, and so I wanted to try them out for you guys. And so I have one. This is what it looks like in the package. It's all in Japanese. I can't read any of this. All I know that it has a 17 millimeter and a 21 millimeter little place for a nut. So let's open it up real quick. I'll show you what it looks like brand new. So there you have it, brand new. This thing was super sharp. And this comes into play because sometimes when you have things you need to cut, whether it be like insulation, I've been doing a lot of demo work, especially with the roof work stuff. So you wanna make sure you have a longer knife. Extendo knife would probably be even better, but this is actually still pretty good. I did like this. Now, the 17 millimeter and 21 millimeter like little socket for nuts is cool, but a lot of times we use the imperial system in America, so I don't really use the equivalent would be like 11/16, and this would be 7/8, so maybe 7/8, but 11/16 is a weird number. And again, it's not perfect, it's metric, but it's a pretty good quality knife. Again, Tajima doesn't make, you know, bad products. So you're looking right here, this thing is really sharp. I do like the way it snaps in. Now, one thing, it's not gonna snap out. Like you try to throw it, you know, open it up, look cool, you're not gonna be able to do that. It does have like a point right here where it kind of stops, and then you have to open it all the way, boom. And the way that you would bring it back in, like most pocket knives, that mechanism right there where you push this side to retract it. So I like it. Again, here you go. I've been using this for a while. Like I said, I was working on some roof stuff, so I kind of put it through its paces. It works pretty good, and it does have like a little scribe thing right here. So if you wanted to, you know, you're doing layout and you don't want to mess up your knife edge, you can kind of just scratch that in right there. Pretty nice. Next, let's talk about the chisels. Again, these are Japanese. So again, I really combed through Amazon, try to find different things for you guys. I've used this for a while. As you can see, I've been using this for like sheetrock. We're doing a lot of demo work and like different openings. And so this came into play. It was actually really nice. Here's what it looks like brand new. Again, the packaging is very easy to get off. And so it's actually, you know, it's not as cumbersome as maybe like a DeWalt, or you've seen that the actual chalk boxes, how tight they are. It's just got a couple staples in here, pop that off. I can't read that in the background, so I'm not exactly sure what that says, but again, it's Tajima's pretty good quality. It's probably something about safety stuff. Again, it's not rocket science. This is just a chisel. Just open it up, boom. You see that? You see it also has how it has like it is set up so that when it sits on there, the knife edge sits up. I think that's pretty cool. You see that? Kind of rocket. So it can fit on your belt. So it can fit on a belt right here. It has a little mechanism right there. This is actually it's pretty good. Now I'm not sure. It feels like the blade is going all the way through the whole shaft, but I'm not sure. I haven't demoed one of these apart yet. None of them have broken, and I've actually been beating up pretty good on that little, the back. Now that's not metal, but that is like some harder plastic. I don't know if you can see that right there. It's harder plastic, so it's actually it's decent, right? It's actually pretty good. So Tajima makes good quality products. This blade is very, very sharp. So make sure when you do have this chisel out, you are closing this back up. Now this is good for if you have a 2x or something that's a little bit too long and you don't want to jump all the way down, you can just like scribe this and just hammer it, boom, 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 knock that piece loose. If you are, you know, trying to strip formwork and you want to get that initial, you know, little wedge in there, this is definitely gonna work. Now, I would not advise using this straight on concrete to like break things apart. Obviously, this is not meant for that, but this thing is very, very sharp and very, very well made. It feels very good in the hand. And again, it just, when I was using it for cutting sheetrock, you know, have that edge holding right there and bringing it down, it felt really, really good. And so it's a quality product. It's not gonna break on you like a razor blade. I think it's definitely worth the purchase. Next, let's talk about the Tajima Caulk Gun. This thing is really sweet. Not much to say about it. When it says it's non-drip, it actually does work really well. I put this thing to its paces. I like the pin in it. It's very long. It's really robust. It's sturdy. It's not something like an afterthought that's inside of here, which I don't really like when they put them in there. A lot of times caulk gets in there and it gets all gunked up. So I like the fact it's on the side, really easy to use, and it's longer than a lot of them, which is actually pretty sweet. And again, it's very, very well made. This thing is not super cheap, so it's not a Home Depot special, but the quality is definitely there though. The quality is there, so it's definitely worth it. And again, when it has an even, you don't have to put a lot of pressure on there. The caulk comes out smooth. And then when you pull that back, releases really easily. And then when you push it back in, you have that resistance so that you're not having caulk just like flow it everywhere. So again, this is a quality product. Not much to say about it. I definitely did like it. Definitely recommend. The next item is pretty simple. It's a Tajima Plum Bob. I know a lot of guys have probably never seen a Plum Bob in the field, but I do some more finish work. I've done like doors, we do like columns, and it's nice to have other options outside of just having a laser, especially if you're on a big job site. Your company may only have like 2 or 3 lasers, so have other options and be able to check it too is also really sweet. So I like having a Plum Bob, so you have to go old school and use what some of the older, you know, guys use, and I think it's really good. I like the fact that it has a magnet on there and it has a place for a screw or a nail. So if you are doing steel stud, you have the magnet right there. And then for lumber, this has a little retractable, I don't know if you can see that right there, has a little retractable point right here. Now, I wouldn't use that to try to lock this Plum Bob on there. You know what I mean? That's not sturdy enough. I'm not exactly sure what that point is for. I'm not gonna lie to you. I do like the fact that the Plum Bob, the actual bob, attaches magnetically, so you can have it, you know, sticking together, so you're not having these things flail apart. So as I was saying, I like the fact that when you pull the line, it stays in place, right? Which is actually pretty sweet. The bob just stays in place. And so it makes it a lot easier for it to, you know, settle down so you can get your measurement for your Plum Bob. I like the fact that it has this little bead inside of here and you have this knot. And so when it does go inside, it will not just snap the whole thing and pretty much ruin the bob, because, you know, the whole line goes inside and snagged inside and then gets wound up and then you can't get it out anymore. So it's actually pretty nice. I would like it if it was all metal because it would last a little longer. But again, for what it is, it's actually pretty nice. And I like the fact too that this has on the bob itself, it's able to move a little bit, so it's able to steady itself a little bit faster, which is actually pretty sweet. I don't know if you can see that right here. This thing right here makes it have the ability to settle a little bit faster. Again, this isn't a tool that I use all the time, but if I am doing like hollow metal door frames, or I'm trying to plumb up some columns, this actually works pretty well, especially if you're fighting over a laser or it's really bright outside and it's hard to see. This actually works pretty well. So I think this is a pretty good purchase too. Even if you won't use that often, this is gonna last you, you know, I've had this in my truck for right now, I wanna say 3 or 4 years already. So it's gonna last you a long time. And the last product is actually something that I think is pretty cool. It's a Rasp. I like this because a lot of times I'm doing general carpentry, so I don't work with sheetrock a lot. The thing that I work with a ton is Den's glass, and that tends to get everywhere. A lot of times I, you know, run dirty and I just use a like Titan pry bar to just like make everything plain out. But this is actually pretty sweet. Again, I want to purchase it because, again, first of all, it's Tajima. It's good quality. I trust their brand, but I like the fact that it has this little like reservoir inside of here, so it can collect the dust, and so it's not getting all over your arms. It's not getting all over your body, and so this is the fine side for the actual sheetrock, and this is for the corners. It says. So again, I'm not a EIS interior systems design carpenter. A lot of things that I do is more general. I do some like dense glass insulation, especially if we are working on the outside of a building. I do install sheetrock sometimes, especially if we're doing rework. Again, a lot of times carpenters, our job is to fill in the voids for other trades. So sometimes there might be a HVAC system or, you know, an opening that was wrong. So we might cut stuff out, and so we have to make sure everything looks good. So I want to have a rasp, especially because dense glass is, again, the bane of my existence. I hate getting that fiberglass, you know, all over my body, and then now it's like all over my skin, and now I can't wait to get off work. So having something that's going to be able to collect some of that dust opposed to getting on my body, I think it's definitely a plus. And it feels good. Like, I know Tajima makes good quality products. I'm going to buy a product blind because I know that when you do get it, you're not going to be like, oh man, this wasn't very good outside of the Tajima tape. I did not like that tape. It broke really fast for me, but other than that, I think Tajima makes a really good product. So let me know if you want me to do a review later on when I actually try these out myself. Well, if you made it this far in the video, I really appreciate you. Drop a like and please subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Also, I want to give a big shout out to the American Electrician. He makes great content, and I'm kind of stealing his workflow a little bit with the mic on the hat. It's a great idea. I really appreciate his honesty in his channel. So again, support him if you get a chance. I'll put his channel in the description. Again, I appreciate you guys. I'll catch you guys next one.